Welcome to another week of Grace Kids Online. I'm so glad to be able to join you again today. Today we're going to be looking at a new memory verse. We have been talking about the memory verse that says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever." And that was found in Psalms 136, verse 1. And I hope that you guys can say that together by now. We've been doing it for 3 or 4 weeks. And today we're going to switch up memory verses. And so starting today, we're going to work on a verse found in Ephesians, which is in the New Testament. It's in Ephesians 4:32, and it says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." So can you repeat after me and say that? Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Awesome. And that is found once again in Ephesians 4:32. So you can work on that this week and in the next couple weeks to come, and hopefully you'll be able to get into that, even if you just get the very beginning. Be kind and compassionate to one another. And so today I want to jump into a story of Jesus when he's having a conversation with a group of people, and they had just asked him, "What is the greatest commandment in the law?" And he had told them that it is to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your strength, and all of your mind. And the second one is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. And someone in that group then asked him the question, "Who is my neighbor?" And if you come to Grace, I know the parents should know this from some of Pastor Nate's messages, our neighbor is everyone. But the story that Jesus told right after this question, he heard the question and he answered with a story. He says, once there was a man, a Jewish man, so a Jewish man meant that that was from that family that God had said, "You are my family and I am your people." Okay, a Jewish man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he was traveling, and he was attacked by bandits. And so they attacked him, and they beat him up, and they took his clothes, and they left him on the side of the road. He almost didn't make it. He almost died. They beat him up so bad, and he was laying on the side of the road. And in this story, Jesus says that a priest came by, which to us nowadays, thinking of our kind of churches, is kind of like a pastor. A pastor came by, but instead of helping him, the pastor stayed away and walked on the other side of the road, like he wasn't going to go near him, and just passed on by. And another man came by that also helped work in the temple, so helped work in their church. And he came over and he looked at him, and then he just kept going. And even he walked on by. Can you walk like that, like you're walking? Now, then a man came by, and this man was a Samaritan. And Samaritans were someone that Jewish people did not get along with. They did not believe the same things. Usually Jewish people didn't even go near Samaritans. They just weren't very nice to each other. They didn't treat each other well. But the Samaritan saw this man lying there on the side of the road, beat up, not in good shape. And he went over and he took oil and put it on his wound, on his sores and his ouchies. He put oil on his wounds and he put Band-Aids on him. Do you have somewhere on your body that you have something that needs a Band-Aid? Well, this guy helped bandage up this guy's wounds. He put oil on his skin. He got this man up, put him on his donkey, took him into town. Okay, he took this Jewish man into town and took him to a place where they could take care of him. And he took him there and he told the people in that place, he gave them some money and said, "Here's some money to take care of him. If this isn't enough, if you spend more money than this taking care of him, I'll pay what's left when I get back in town." So he not only stopped to check on him, he put oil on his wounds, on his ouchies, and he bandaged him up, and he took him into town where he could be taken care of instead of leaving him there on the side of the road. And he gave them money to take care of him. He was there, and so he gave them that money, and so Jesus told this story, and then he looked at the crowd, and he said to them, "Which one of these three would you say was a neighbor to this man? Which one of these three, the priest, the other temple worker that worked in the church, or the Samaritan, which one of these three was a neighbor to that man that got beat up on the side of the road? And they had to answer that the Samaritan was his neighbor. He's the one that took care of him. And he told this story as an example of there's sometimes things in our life, there's people that we don't get along with. There may be people that are not treated right, that other people treat wrongly. But we can be nice to those people. We can be kind. In this story, we see this. Even the Samaritan took care of him. And even if we feel like no one cares for us, Jesus cares for us. And even if we see other people being treated badly, we can be kind to them. Because Jesus wants us to be kind to everyone. Everyone is our neighbor. To love everyone. To love our neighbor. And so right now, I know a lot of us, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. You're staying home. Maybe your parents or the other adults in your house just seem kind of on edge about a lot of stuff that's going on in our country right now. But this is something we can remember no matter who we're dealing with, whether we get along with them or we don't get along with them, whether there's someone that someone else treats badly or someone else treats nicely, that we can be kind and we can be a neighbor to everyone around us, no matter what people think of them, no matter what the color of their skin is, no matter what kind of behavior they act like, what kind of stuff they do, whether it's nice or mean. But Jesus wants us to treat everyone like our neighbor, to love our neighbor, to be kind to our neighbor. And so this week, as we think about that as a family, as you talk about that as a family, some things that you can do, maybe you can look around your neighbors or people that you've been around during this time. Maybe is there something that you can help them with? Maybe there's something that the kids listening to this, maybe there's something that you can help with at your house, that you can help your parents or the other adults in your house. You can help them with something and be helpful, just like the Samaritan was in our story. There are some things that maybe there's something you can do as a family to be helpful for someone else, or to work together as a family to be helpful to each other in the house and clean something up or put stuff away. And something else you can do to remember this story is maybe take a little bit of oil, like vegetable oil or olive oil, and just put a little bit on your fingers and feel what that would have felt like. And think of this story where the Samaritan rubbed that on the sore spots to help this man. And some things that you can talk about with each other. Maybe you can tell about a time that you were kind to someone, or a time that someone was kind to you. And you can talk about that with each other. Or what's one way that you can be kind and helpful today? Whenever you're watching this, what's something right now today that you can be helpful to someone else? How can you help someone? How can you be kind to someone? And you can talk about that and do that together as a family. And so this week, I just want us to focus on this, being kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ in God forgave you. In our verse in Ephesians 4:32, that we can be kind and compassionate to one another, whether we agree or disagree, get along or not get along. We can be kind to one another. So this week, I hope that will be a theme for your week, a theme for your life, that God calls us to love our neighbor, that you can be kind and compassionate to each other in your house and to everyone that you come in contact with each and every day of your life. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm so thankful for you. Hopefully we'll be seeing each other real soon. If I don't see you in person at our services at church, hopefully we'll be seeing you real soon back here together as Grace Community Church. We are still a community. Even though you're at home, even though some people are here, we are still here for one another. I love you guys. Be blessed and have a wonderful week.